last 10 years, over 56,000 businesses closed down. Our recession, our slump in the economy has been going on over 10 years. We had 132 million people employed 10 years ago. You know how many people we have employed right now? 132 million approximately. We have 30 million new people in the country, so you know why people are hurting. So when you hear the government statistics be suspect, they tell you unemployment's not all that bad, it's 8%, which is pretty bad. You know, the truth is, if you measure it the way we used to, and by the free market economic system, we have it closer to a 20% unemployment rate, and that is why we're hurting. But then we get Chairman of the Federal Reserve Board get out and say, well, we do have inflation, we plan to have inflation, we want some inflation, but we're going to keep it at 2%. I'll tell you what, your inflation rate, the destruction of your currency, the cost of living is going up much faster than 2%. I just came in, I saw how much gasoline costs around here. It's pretty expensive. And the whole thing is if you live on Wall Street and you're making millions, if not billions of dollars, what do you care whether your gasoline's $3, $4, $5, or $6? It's irrelevant. But what does it mean if you're living on the margin? What if it means that you barely have enough money at the end of the month? What if it means you have debt? This is a big increase. What if you're on a fixed income? What if you're on Social Security? Your cost of living is going up a lot faster than 2%. And that is preventable because that isn't prices going up, it's as a consequence of the value of your dollar going down. And that's why we have to look at the monetary system and find out what to do about it. Decided that they would embark on big government. They did two things in 1913 under the progressive era of Woodrow Wilson. They gave us, you know, the Federal Reserve System, and that of course violated the Constitution because they had a major debate on the monetary issue, and they said there will be no authority for a central bank, there will be no authority to print money, and there will only be one legal tender, and that would be gold and silver. So the Federal Reserve System is totally unconstitutional, but it did usher in this age of big spending. Because if you can't tax enough and you can't borrow enough, then they resort to printing, and that is the source of the gross distortions. They can last for a long time, but it finally hits a dead wall, and that is where we are today. We're 5 years into this recession. But actually, the standard of living has been going down a lot longer. These last 10 years have not been good. We are not producing jobs. If you say, well, tell the people to save money, sure, save money, make 1% on your stock. I asked Bernanke about this. What's fair about giving the people who want to save, take care of themselves and act responsibly? He says, well, we have to look at the financial markets. We want to take care of the financial market. Some people may suffer from this, but that is just a consequence. That is exactly the opposite of how sound money and freedom work. If you work hard and you save, and you hopefully get the luxury of keeping what you earn like you should, but you should be allowed to save the money and not lose. And real interest rates could be 5, 6, 7%, but they get them down to 1%, and who does that help? It helps the special interests, it helps the big banks, the people who got the bailouts. You know, they make a lot of money under this monetary system, and they were doing quite well. The crisis hit, the big guys came in and said, there's going to be a depression, there's going to be a depression, we're too big to fail. So they run to the Congress, they run to the Fed, and they said, you have to bail us out. Well, they should have bailed out. Nobody should get those bailouts because who had to pay for the bailout? You did. The middle class had to pay for it. They took that bad debt, bought it, and dumped it on the American people, and that's why the middle class is smaller and less rich and losing ground. So we have to stop this whole concept of bailing out the special interest. What we want to do is reward incentives.